Right, Sunday, 2 p.m, Enzo Maresca's Chelsea take to Stamford Bridge, where we look to make it 7 wins in our last 9 in all competitions when we take on Ipswich. And here today with me to preview the game is the big dog, the channel fan favourite, Mr. Joshua Aveste. Have you missed me, mate?
I've missed you immensely. I mean, we haven't spoken in... How long was it? How long has it been? Days?
2 hours.
Hours? Seconds? Yeah, 2 hours.
About
That's
2
fair.
hours. About 2 hours. When did we last see each
But
other?
it's always a pleasure. Online or in person?
In person.
I think we filmed on Monday. Did we? Something like that?
Yeah. Filmed on Monday.
it's
I
not
had
been
to
that
give
far.
these lot a bit of an apology.
You underestimate me, Joey, because you think that I wasn't watching the stream.
Were you watching my stream?
Not only was I watching it, you were my alternative commentary.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you were bashing over it.
Yeah. Well, obviously, I mean
There you go.
that's a given, isn't it? I mean, people do question, our ability to.
Well,
do that.
do you know when you watch my stream, and you're watching the game?
When I'm naked.
Yeah. When you're watching my stream and I'm watching the game, are you going, yep, Joey knows what he's talking about. He's calling
Usually
it for what it is.
not, to be honest with you.
Really?
Do you know what? Do you know what I was really laughing at? I had 3 or 4 moments in the stream where you were just silent, and I had to check my phone whether you were still live or whether I was buffering or something.
Yes, when we're playing fucking boring football, mate. Like, what do you want me to do? Like, I'm just like sat there, like, is something going to happen soon? Is something going to happen soon? But
That first half was so shit.
Oh,
That
God.
first half was crap. I literally was sat there, and do you know what? I'm not even joking. I thought, do I watch the second half or do I do some Ian Huntley prep? And the Ian Huntley prep nearly won. It got very close. It was only because I was quite comfortable on
Can
the
you
sofa.
just explain to them what you mean by Ian Huntley prep? Because that
basically,
sounds really
What I'm
weird.
trying to say is nothing to do with the Joey and Josh channel where we talk about true crime cases. I'm just quite interested in him as a person. I quite want to study him. And so I was just doing some research, nothing about true crime episodes. I was just doing some stuff.
There you go.
Just like you would.
There you
I
go.
mean, the fact that you're taking the piss out of me for that, when you know everything about every other true crime case at a level in which I think investigators, Mark William Thomas, wouldn't even know. In fact,
Mark William Thomas has not got shit on me. I'm telling you that now, right? But if you want to know more about true crime, head over to Joey and Josh, linked in the description. Now, linked with relegation, unfortunately, are Ipswich. They are currently 18th in the Premier League. Very little hopes of survival. In fact, could be gone within, the next fortnight, are we saying?
They are 12 points behind Wolves with 7 games to play.
So I'm saying within the next fortnight.
3 games, yeah, around that.
Have Southampton set the record as being the quickest to be relegated?
They are, and also, I think you and I were talking about this. I don't think this was on the kickoff, but I was laughed at when I said this, that Southampton could get the lowest amount of points in the Premier. No, it was you, because you said that Derby would be the ultimate record holders and that Southampton wouldn't lose that record. They're on 10 points. What was Derby on?
11, I think.
I think it was 11. But I don't see Southampton getting any more points from now until the end of the season.
You don't think they can nick a draw
No.
from now on to the end of the season?
They're crap.
Yeah, they are. They're shit.
Do you reckon it is possible though? That they get the lowest amount of points. They lose every single game.
It's obviously
'Cause
possible. 7 games.
To be fair, they have had a draw in their last 5. Shall I have a look at who it was? Palace. Congratulations.
Okay.
Good result. I don't see them doing it. But yeah, I mean, let's be honest. Did you know the last time a promoted team did the double over Chelsea? And who was it?
Yeah. It was...
Do you actually know this?
Yeah, of course. Josh, don't test my
Did you do your
knowledge.
research?
No.
Okay, go on then, tell me.
I'll be able to tell you.
Okay.
Southampton.
No. Incorrect. Shall I tell you the season and you can try and guess the team?
Go on then.
It was 01-02.
Right, well, you're wrong straight away. You've done your research wrong. Southampton.
Promoted team.
Promoted team.
According to The Athletic, which is the ultimate source of knowledge, you are incorrect. It was Charlton in 2001-2002.
I was at one of the games where we lost, where we had sand on the pitch.
League double. In the Charlton match.
Yeah, Charlton match. Yeah.
That Stamford Bridge pitch with
They-
the sand on the pitch was classic.
I'll tell you now,
Classic.
they beat us 4-2 in one of those games.
Charlton,
yeah.
There you go.
But Southampton, didn't they come up and you know the season they had Romeo Lavia and they went down?
Yes.
Were they not newly promoted that season?
I don't know, but but according to the Athletic, why would they lie, mate? They know their stuff.
Well, you're probably
They're
reading an
smart.
old article.
They're smart
No, that's
boys.
really going to
They're
annoy
smart-
me
they're
now.
smart boys.
So PL table.
Here we go.
22, 23.
No,
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to get this.
PL table 22, 23.
And they beat us in both
saw
games.
saw Southampton finish rock bottom. Yeah. Now, the question is, were they in the league the season before? Fuck! They finished 15th the season before in the Premier League.
I do my research, Joey. Not only do I do my research for this podcast, but also the Joey and Josh show. If you aren't subscribed, then please do. But we do our research here, Joey. I don't make shit up.
That's a shit up. They did do the double over us that season, by the way.
There you go.
Romeo Lavia scored the screamer.
Did
at
I say?
St Mary's.
Did I say
and-
teams that finish 15th do the double over us, Joey?
No, he didn't.
And Joey, Fountain of Knowledge Knights. I'm surprised your boxing nickname isn't the Fountain. That would actually work quite well.
The Mountain, because I mount everything I lay eyes on. Ipswich aren't going to do double over us. Don't worry about that.
Okay, great.
Would you say they've been the best out of the newly promoted teams? I mean,
To
the
be honest
table
with
would
you,
say so.
When they're all as shit as they are, who cares? Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, fair enough. They've been better than Leicester and Ipswich. Leicester and Southampton. What am I even saying? Who cares? They're crap.
Did you not feel like they were potentially best equipped?
Yes, but the way that the Premier League's going at the moment, the funds that come down from the top of the Premier League and the parachute payments that come up from the Championship is still not enough. The gulf is massive.
Well, what's
their
Leicester's excuse?
Their
then?
number 9 striker is on a lot of less money than you would think. One of their best players, who we might talk about in this podcast.
We might talk about Delap. We might talk about him. But can I just say,
Yes.
opening day of the season, Ipswich faced Liverpool, I believe. And I think Ipswich maybe went one up. It ended 3-1, I think it was, to Liverpool, something like that. I remember watching them, and I remember thinking, if anyone's going to stay up, these lot are going to stay up, right? Now, when I look at the sides going down, if anyone's going to bounce straight back up, it will probably be Southampton, to be honest. But for some reason, I just thought if anyone's going to stay up, it's going to be Ipswich, because I think they'll pull off some wins. I didn't think we'd get 31 games in. They'd only have 4 wins to their name. One of them was
home
Chelsea. Have they only got one home win?
Yes. Who
God.
was against?
Chelsea, 2-0.
Yes.
Who were the other wins against, do you know?
The other wins, I've just looked at it, so I'd be cheating if I said I knew it off the top of my head. But it was Bournemouth most recently, then Chelsea, obviously, then Wolves, and finally, the most early one was Tottenham. They beat 2-1.
Spurs was the first team they beat away, wasn't it? Yeah, very, very Spursy.
Very Spursy.
Look, there's obviously major consequences every weekend going into every game at this moment in time. What should our main concern be when coming up against Ipswich? Because there's been a certain Ipswich number 9, Liam Delap, who we've been linked with all season. The PR briefings have been out there. The fire has been stoked, and whoever's stoking it clearly doesn't know how well to tell the temperature. Because I don't think, do you know, it's a funny thing. It's a very funny thing here, right? I don't think that Liam Delap would be a bad signing. I think at 30 million quid for a young Englishman, let's remember he's not that young, right? Probably something I'm more in...
He's 22.
22 years old, exactly. Probably something I'm more in favour of, if anything, you know, because after a season or so, you're kind of approaching your maybe athletic prime towards 23, 24, something like that. Depends, different people are different. I look at the way that he uses his body, and I am actually impressed by it. Like, I look at him in certain games, I am impressed by him. I am gonna, what's the word? You say it, revisionist or something? Or am I just going to say I am going to revise some of my... revise, like take away. Like I am going to...
You're going to revise your thinking.
Some of my comments.
Revitalise.
Basically...
Renege.
Basically... Who?
Any others?
Renege.
Renege.
Basically, I said that if you stuck Mark Yu in that Ipswich team, he would have scored just as many goals as Liam Delap.
You need to give a formal apology for this.
I don't really feel like I do.
Well, I think, you're going to, so you might as well just get it out now.
That's what she said. And secondly, no, I don't think I do really need to give a formal apology because there's no proof to back it up.
No.
But what I'm saying is, do I rate Liam Delap at this moment in time better than a Mark Yu?
Has
I do.
Liam Delap scored a screamer against Alaves after coming on in the last 5 minutes for Barcelona?
No.
No. And that's all she wrote.
There you go. But has Mark Yu ever scored against Chelsea?
Well, technically not, but maybe in training.
Doesn't really count.
Was he involved in the under-21s where they beat us 3-0?
God knows, yeah, but then maybe he was. No, he was injured.
Yeah, he was, yeah.
14 goal involvements in
Yeah.
29 starts so far this season for Liam Delap. That's 12 goals, 2 assists. I'm sure he'll probably grab 1 or 2 more, meaning that he's going to end the season on what? 14-ish goals? And I would say that in today's market, that represents good value for money. I'm going to get my cards on the table straight away. Would I be in favour of signing a Liam Delap, for example, over Victor Osman, Victor Gyökeres? I was about to say Benjamin Šeško. I'm not. I know you quite rate Šeško. I don't really rate Šeško that highly, to be honest. Like, I actually don't really rate him.
Can I tell you the main reason why I rate Benjamin Šeško? And I'll just come clean right now.
Go on.
Football Manager 2014, I signed a very young Benjamin Šeško.
You're such a geek.
Might have even been one of the later ones because he is still quite young. I signed him and he ended up being not only one of my best players, but one of the best players in the world. So if that doesn't prove anything, I signed.
That's Bowley logic right there.
I signed Yuri Tielemans, I think, in 2012, FM 2012. He was also an FM Wonder Kid and was very good.
By the way, I don't know whether you were watching the stream the other night when we were talking about underrated Chelsea players.
I'm watching the stream,
we were
Joey.
talking about team of the season, stuff like that. And
your answers are so boring.
What?
You just say the same one every time.
Who?
Your underrated player.
Good Johnson.
Yeah, like, it's so
Well, he's the
boring.
man. He's the fucking daddy.
Come up with a new one. Do you know what I mean?
Piss off. No, but I was starting to think about like B team of the season.
Okay.
B team of the season. I think Tielemans would get in B team of the season.
So, can we define B team of the season? It would be not the best team.
A team of the season's midfield is probably going to have Caicedo in there. It's probably going to have Gravenberch in there. Yeah, it might have Declan Rice in there.
I think
we're going on Premier League. It probably would have Declan Rice in there. Yeah. I think there are strong shots for Morgan Gibbs-White and stuff. But then B team of the season would be like the guys that just missed out on A team of the season. So, for example, maybe a couple of Forest players that just about missed out and stuff like that. And no, I think Tielemans, because I thought like, he'd be dead, he'd be rubbish there, like he won't be no good, and I think he's been really good. But anyway, enough about that. I want to ask you about Liam Delap. Would you be happy if this summer we went out and signed Liam Delap and nobody else?
So I thought you were going to ask me, would I be happy if we signed him? And the answer, if we signed him, then the answer is yes. It would be a good deal. He's not on a lot of money. Can we tell them how much money he's on?
Tell me. I don't even know.
He is on £20,000 a week.
So I guessed it right, because that's what I said to you earlier.
You did. I thought you knew the answer.
Did you reply?
I just said you're amazing.
Yeah, thank you. But I could have interpreted that in a different way.
Yeah, in a different way. I think if you sign him alongside another player, then it's inspired. It's a really good summer window. If you sign him alone, I worry about what that means for the future.
Sorry, as in?
As in, I think we should be bringing in 2 strikers this summer.
Right.
And I think we should be letting Mark Yu go out on loan and furthering his career somewhere else.
Yeah.
And then I think we should still sign another striker to compete with all of Delap and Jackson.
Okay. And what level of striker is that then? Because what I'm saying is this. You're not going to go and sign Liam Delap for 30 million, yeah, and then sign Gyökeres, let's say, for example, and then have Nicholas Jackson there, who Maresca has come out and said that he sees as his ideal striker. He'd like another striker like Jackson.
Gyökeres is 26.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to buy a 26-year-old this summer. How old is Osman? Do you know? I think he's in that kind of range.
Same range.
I think he's in that kind of range.
26.
And I think that Osman will be the highest wages out of any potential striker target that we go for.
Reportedly 375 grand a week he wants.
Exactly.
I can never see that happening.
So we're
Everyone
never going to
goes,
sign that.
yeah, but if you get Sterling off the wage bill,
No.
and if you get Chilwell off the wage bill, there's $500,000 a week. And it's like,
It's not about
it's
that,
just
though.
not that easy.
But it's also not about that. Because for Chelsea, it's all about a wage structure. It's all about fitting Cole Palmer in. It's about fitting Enzo in, Caicedo, the players that deserve the money, that kind of money. But also they don't want to rock the apple cart and they don't want to go too crazy. And so bringing in Osman, it just wouldn't work. So I think when we're looking at these targets, I think what you've got to do is you've got to look at it from a realistic perspective, and you've also got to look at the kind of wages they're on right now. And so for me, the Delap one makes complete sense because £30 million release clause. And then you just give him the wages that he wants. The only thing that I worry about with Delap is whether Man United go in for him, because they will absolutely be in for him, and all of the rumours are that he will be, keen to go.
You wouldn't go to Man United over Chelsea.
You scoff at that, but he absolutely would. And
Why?
why? No. But why don't you think? Why don't you tell me why he would go to Man United over Chelsea?
He's from Manchester,
No.
I think, because he's come from
No.
Manchester.
What did Man United do more famously than anyone else?
They'll probably give him 200 grand a week.
Exactly. And Chelsea are not going to pay him 200 grand a week. So I actually do think it's quite realistic that he goes to Man United, to be fair.
I think it's quite realistic that Xerxes and Rasmus Højlund and fuck knows whoever else would have a bit of a problem with that. Marcus Rashford, if he ends up going back there,
Rasmus
God knows.
Højlund is going to be sold because he's been absolutely...
He ain't getting sold. No one's giving fuck all money for Rasmus Højlund. Liam Delap has been a better player in the Premier League than Rasmus Højlund has in the Premier League. And that is not even debatable. But can I ask you one question, right?
I want to ask you it back, though.
Go on, then.
Would you sign him?
Would I sign Liam Delap?
Yes.
I would sign Liam Delap. I wouldn't then mind having like... I know this is typical, and you could literally take the name off my tongue. I wouldn't then mind, if we've got Liam Delap, we've got Nicholas Jackson, I wouldn't then mind having, and let's say we're ruling out the sort of big hitters in the market, i.e. we're ruling out Victor Osman, we're ruling out Victor Gyökeres, we're ruling out Sesko, people like that, right? I wouldn't then mind, I wish he was 3 years younger. But I wouldn't then mind having an...
Alvaro Morata.
No, fuck off.
Harry Kane.
No, come on.
Diego Costa.
No, someone very good looking. Frenchman.
Giroud.
I wouldn't then mind having like a Giroud.
Oh!
Because then
He's
you've got...
barely scoring in MLS.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Then you've got like Delap.
I rate that.
The young kid.
I love that you said that.
Nicholas Jackson, who's the same age, but more experienced. I always like to meet ice with fire. And I think that Nicholas Jackson and Liam Delap are totally different players.
All right, Jon Snow.
yeah, there you go. I think they're totally different players. So I actually wouldn't be adverse to having like Liam Delap, Nicholas Jackson. I don't mind that. I'm cool with that. I think they can play on the pitch at the same time or whatnot. However, if you said to me, no Liam Delap, and you just go and sign Victor Gyökeres, I would say just go and sign Victor Gyökeres.
Seriously.
Please. That would be for me. And I'll tell you something right now, right? Have our standards dropped in terms of what we rate as like a real good signing for Chelsea? Because I don't know whether this is the PR briefings or what, but I'm seeing a lot of accounts that are posting stuff like, yeah, we could be getting Liam Delap. I'm really excited to get Liam Delap and whatnot. And let's say he does finish this season on 14 goals, yeah? Let's say he does finish this season on 14 goals from a newly promoted side, right? I could give you a list, mate, like a long list of strikers. I'll go, you tell me, excited, not excited, yeah?
At the time.
At the time.
Yes.
At the time. So,
Okay.
right. West Ham came up after finishing 6th in the Championship, yet they managed to win the playoffs. In the 05-06 season, when they came up to the Premier League, Marlon Harewood scored 14 league goals for West Ham, 16 goal involvements overall. Obviously, 14 league goals. That's 2 more than Liam Delap is on right now. Would you have been excited over signing in Marlon Harewood?
Well, when I played against Marlon Harewood about 4 years ago...
Did you actually?
Yes. He was, 1, a tank, and 2, absolutely smacked it into the top corner pretty much about 8 times. But no, I wouldn't have taken him.
You probably wouldn't have taken him.
No.
There you go. Okay. But what you could say to me is you could go, well, actually, West Ham finished 9th that season. They weren't relegated. So maybe the stats are padded a little bit more in Marlon Harewood's favour, you could say, because they weren't a relegated team and Ipswich will be. But just quickly, before we get into all that, Steak Mate are back. And this week, our friend Emmanuel has won over £1,000 from a 10-fold acca with just a £10 stake. And if you want to win money just like Emmanuel, download Steak Mate today. And believe me, this is not your run-of-the-mill betting app. In fact, it's more like if Bet365 and Snapchat had a baby. And we are all chatting, bantering and betting in the Joey Night podcast chat. Also, remember, new customers get 20 quid in free bets when you bet just your first tenner. And StakeMate are offering even more bonuses as you play. So all you need to do is hit the link in the description below to download StakeMate. However, you do need to remember that you must be 18 years old or over. You must be living inside the UK. And most importantly, we all need to remember to gamble responsibly. Thanks very much to StakeMate for sponsoring another video. Let's get back into it. Let's move on to Grant Holt. He comes up with Norwich, 24 stars for Grant Holt that season. That's 4 less than Liam Delap already, and Liam Delap's probably going to start every game. 15 goals, 2 assists, including goals against the traditional top 4 at the time: Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal, Man United. Yeah. He might have even scored against City as well. Would you have been excited to sign Grant Holt from Norwich that season?
He was a bit of a baller, Grant Holt.
Would you have been excited?
No.
No, you wouldn't. Okay. But, again, you can say to me, well, were Norwich relegated that season? Well, I'll tell you, because you won't remember from memory, but they weren't. They finished 12th. Ricky Lambert comes up with Southampton. 15 goals, 4 assists in 35 starts. Now, we're starting to slip down a little bit here because the players are getting older, which you would imagine makes it harder. And also, in terms of Premier League position where they finished, right? Southampton finished that season 14th, but they only actually finished 2 points above Sunderland, who finished in 17th. Which just survives relegation, and they survived relegation on the final day, Sunderland, that season. Wow. So it's not like Southampton were unreal that season. Liverpool did end up going and signing him. I was going to say,
he did get a move.
After another season where he bagged even more goals, by the way, more goals, right? But off the back of that first season, would you have been excited of signing him?
No, I think that is the kind of level, that shows where Liverpool were as a club at that time.
Okay.
Doesn't it?
Okay. I think there are some here that you might have been excited. I'll just go through them.
I've not been anywhere near excited so far.
Okay, would you be excited? 03-04 season, this man comes up, scores 16 and assists 4 more, helping Pompey to a 13th place finish. Yakubu. 03-04, we had Hasselbank, we had Johnson, we had Hernan Crespo, right? Would you have been excited at the end of that season? Let's say, for example, so the next season we went and signed... Crespo went out on loan to AC Milan because he had played rubbish. We went and signed Drogba. Drogba was proven Europa League final, maybe even a Europa League winner at that time. But Drogba wasn't like a world-renowned name. Matthias Kesman was the man that people were more excited about, signing-wise. Would you have been excited to have signed Yakubu?
That is the one where I do think he is a bit of a cult hero. But what I've just remembered is that interview that Harry Redknapp did, where he was just sort of like, he was happy for him to go. Do you remember that interview?
No.
I think Harry Redknapp, I think it was much later on, because he stayed at Pompey for a while, didn't he, Yakubu? I think he did an interview basically where he said he would drive him to the next club if it meant that he would leave. But I actually really liked Yakubu. And so in that era, if you like, obviously, you know what you can do now on Football Manager. You can go back and relive that time. I probably would have signed him over Matthias Kesman.
Mad, isn't it? Yeah, you would. You would in hindsight.
Yeah,
would,
yeah,
probably.
exactly.
Can I tell you something? Yeah, Yakubu's one of these players. Like from the second he stepped foot into a Premier League field, he was a 30-year-old striker to me.
Yes.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah,
I
that
was.
season I'm on about when he came up with Pompey and he got 20 goal involvements, which is far more than Liam Delap will get this season. Yakubu was Liam Delap's age.
That's
I think
insane.
he might have been a couple of months younger, by the way.
Would you have signed him?
Would I have signed him?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably the first on this list that I would have probably signed, Yakubu. I think stylistically, when you look at like strong, big, thick-set Chelsea strikers, he's a stylistic match. I could probably go for a bit of Yakubu. But there's a problem here, isn't there? Because every team I've given you so far didn't get relegated. So stat padding wise, you can go, well, look, that team that I just said there, that Pompey team, they finished, what did I say, 13th in the table.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if Ipswich go down, that's going to go against them because that means less goals shared round throughout the team, lower points total in the table than all these teams. What about this? Charlie Austin, right?
Oh, fuck off.
Charlie Austin, right? 15-16 season, scored 18 goals with 6 assists in 35 starts for a QPR side that finished rock bottom of the table. Would you have been excited to sign Charlie Austin?
No.
You wouldn't have, would you, in
I
the
wouldn't
15-16 season?
How old was he? Do you know?
Fuck knows. But you wouldn't
Yeah.
have been excited to sign him, right? Marcus Stewart. You probably don't even remember
don't
him.
even know
Neither
who
do
that
I.
is.
Most of you won't remember him. But he came up in the 2000-2001 season with Ipswich. He banged 19 goals. By the way, Ipswich actually finished like 5th that season, I think. Maybe even 4th. I don't know where they
I
finished.
think it was because I think they did Europa League then.
Yeah. There you go. So maybe not the best example, but I gave it because it's Ipswich. Don't worry, I'm getting finished. Andy Johnson comes up with Palace in the 04-05 season, gets relegated but scores 21 goals while the ship sinks, finishing only second in the Golden Boot race to Thierry Henry. Would you have been excited to sign him?
No.
No, you wouldn't have.
Did he go down with them, or did he make a move after that?
He didn't stay down. He went Everton and then went Fulham.
Everton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last of all, Kevin Phillips. Right?
Oh,
30 goals and 4 assists for newly promoted Sunderland in the 99/2000 season when he started 36 games and won the European Golden Boot ahead of Andrei Shevchenko and Ruud van Nistelrooy. Would you have been excited to sign him?
yes.
Yeah, I would have been
I
excited.
think you would, because he was a young lad then as well.
Yeah.
I think you would have been very excited to sign him.
Yeah.
Okay, so how many have I said? I said Phillips, I said Yakubu, and who else?
No, just that. Phillips,
just those two.
Phillips and Yakubu. Okay. So what I'm saying, and once we got to Kevin Phillips, right? Once we got to Kevin Phillips, we're talking about a man with 34 goal involvements for Sunderland, that had just come up. 34 goal involvements. At this moment in time, Liam Delap has 14 goal involvements. So I've took ages to do it, but to circle back to my question...
I didn't want to say it.
Has the bar dropped?
The way that I look at this, to answer your question, is you're looking at probably the hottest prospect in terms of like England strikers. If you think about another striker option that is competing with Delap, you're going to struggle. Who else are you looking at in the age groups now that is going to be competing for a number 9 spot over Delap?
Yeah.
So the way that I look at it is, if in those seasons that you mentioned, like 09, whatever, right, 2000, 2005, whatever, right, would you have signed the best under 21s? And bear in mind, he's 22, but I think he can still play in the under 21s.
You can still play till 20. Milner used to play in the under 21s when he was about
35.
38.
Yeah. I think you would, if you were given that chance, I think you would still sign them, because I think there is something in building that English squad. And this is something that the board don't often get credit for. They are building a squad of some really good young English players. And so from that perspective, you've got to rate it. Now, does his goal involvements wow me? No, but he's playing in a team that are dreadful. So I think if you bring him then into another team, I think it's exciting. But my caveat to all of that is that is nowhere near as exciting as the potential in which we signed a Didier Drogba level player, right? So I don't think by any means Delap will become Didier Drogba, or I don't think he will ever have a career that will be as good as Harry Kane, because we're comparing England players. But what I will say is, I think he would be a very adequate backup because, quite frankly, I think you agree with me on this, but I actually really believe in Nicholas Jackson.
Yeah, so do I.
And I believe in him so much that I am coming along to the theory that I would be happy to have a player that wasn't an all-star number 9 to replace him.
Yeah.
So this is what I mean about signing 2 players. I'd be happy if we got 2 players that were of Delap's level, if it meant that we could still get Jackson in the team and grow with another striker that grows and develops. Because I think Jackson can play on the left.
Do you know what I want to know? And we'll never get to know it because, aerial success rate pretty good, and he uses his body well. Like I said, you want him in the box. But I would like to know, what's he like at taking a throw in?
With the genetic makeup that he has, it must be amazing.
It must be.
It must be absolutely ridiculous.
But what was Rory Delap? Was he a right back?
Can I just say, right? When I was playing football, I developed that I had a very good talent for throw-ins.
Really?
And so much so that I would say, that I'm ashamed to admit this, it was probably my best attribute on the football pitch.
Yeah.
And when you're getting to that level, something's gone wrong, hasn't it? When someone's going to you, when you're doing your review, when you pick your team at the start of the season, sometimes you're going on different squads, and someone goes, "Yes, I will have Josh on my team." Do you know why? He's really good at throw-ins.
I don't know. I think that beats my best attribute on a football pitch.
What is that? Diving?
No.
Getting in fights?
Yeah.
We basically, Joey, what we've learned is we were shit at football.
We were shit at football. Shit at football podcasting, according to the comment section half the time. Right, listen. How
That's
many
not
goals?
true.
How many goals do you think Chelsea have conceded in our last game? Eight games in all competitions.
I was going to say, how many goals is Delap going to score? I thought that was going to be the question. 4.
We've conceded 2 goals in our last 8 games in all competitions. Neither of those were from open play either. So we've not conceded in 8 games
Pens?
from open play. Arsenal's one was a corner.
Yeah.
And a Copenhagen one, I believe, was also a corner.
That sounds about right.
Something like that.
I remember that, yeah. Okay.
I think that I've said this time in, time out. I really think that the form picked up before the first whistle of that Aston Villa game. Now, we lost that Aston Villa game, right? But 6 wins, 1 defeat to Arsenal, and a draw in that time. Are we playing free-flowing, amazing football like some of the glimpses that we saw earlier on in the season? No, we're not. We're not. I understand that. But, I mean, fucking hell, mate. Like, Bournemouth are playing some amazing football at times, right? But they're in the bottom 3 right now when it comes to the form table. And you would not have thought that a little while ago, would you, with how Bournemouth...
They have lost, 5 games in the last 8, haven't they? Something like that.
There you go. So what I'm saying is, I'd rather be winning games, if you want to call it ugly, if you want to call it boring, i.e. first half, not much to get excited about, and then getting a couple of goals in the second half. I'd rather be winning games than playing a bit of beautiful football at times, but then not coming up, with the win in certain games. I always take it back to, last season. I thought that we were playing some beautiful football against West Ham. We lost that match 3-1. Do you know what I mean? So it really is a case of pick your poison.
Yeah.
What would you look back on more memorably? Honestly, I'm actually asking you now, what would you look back on more memorably? Scraping a 1-0 win against Ipswich, playing shit, and making sure we got 3 points and stayed in the Champions League race, or playing some beautiful football, but, drawing, perhaps.
I'm very happy for the rest of the games that we have this season, 7 games. I'm very happy for all of them to be boring 1-0 wins that we win in the 88th minute.
Well, there you go.
I honestly would take that every day of the week and twice on Sundays.
Yeah. So it doesn't mean that we don't want to see free-flowing football, beautiful football, but we're realists at the same time. Now, here is the team that we believe is going to give us the best chance of seeing some beautiful, free-flowing football. And we are going to start with Robert Sanchez in goal. Until he makes a major fuck-up for me, as much as I rated the one time that Jorgensen was really sort of called into question the other night, he didn't have much to do. And Robert Sanchez has done more good of recent than he has bad. And like I say, only conceding the 2 goals, none of those being from open play. Although one of those I did think, Sanchez was kind of at fault for. Either way, he makes the lineup. Reece James right back. Trevor Chalobah and Caldwell will be the back sort of 2 centre-backs. I think it will end up merging into a 3 with Cucurella, who you see here at left-back being the one that pushes furthest forward. Even at times, I think it might be Reece James pushing further into the midfield. Rather, Cucurella will push further forward into wide and attacking spaces, almost advanced 10 spaces, whereas Reece James would probably link up with Caicedo a little bit in the midfield, and Caicedo would sit back there. But Caicedo and Enzo as the pivot. Noni, Palmer, Neto across the front line with Nicholas Jackson leading the lineup. Now, Josh, I am going to ask you one question and one question only, my friend. Does that lineup make you horny?
Yes, it does. We're getting to the level now where we are getting so many players back that we are finally reaching what should be our out-and-out number, 11.
In terms of who we've got at the club, that's a Wesley Fofana off being perfect, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe Jorgensen as well. But yeah. That is very, very close to being absolutely perfect. I think this team, as a starting 11, could muck it right up there in the top 3. If we had that for the whole season, we would be in a completely different place to where we are right now.
The pressure is probably going to be on us in this match. It's on us in every match at this moment in time, but the pressure is probably going to be on us because the early kickoff on Saturday is, do you know?
Is Man City involved?
It's Man City against Crystal Palace.
Yes.
And I think Man City are at home.
Please don't tell me that's on TV.
It may well be.
That is so dull.
Really?
Well, yeah. That's dull as fuck.
We're not even on TV. I'm going to have to get a dodgy stream for my live stream of the game.
What's the dodgy stream?
I've never heard of a fire stick in my life. Never heard of a fire stick in my life. But either way, that one, you would look at it and you would think that, is Haaland out now?
Yes.
Yeah. So you'd think now a little bit more free flowing with Mamouche and whatnot. He looks good. You'd probably think a City win in that one. Wow. However, do you know where City are? Stop looking at your laptop for a sec because I don't trust you.
I was looking at Palace's form, but go on.
Do you know where City are in the form table right now?
I've got no idea. Can I guess?
You can guess.
12th.
Oh, you're close. You're close.
What was it?
City are 11th in the form table.
Okay, it wasn't too far off. I didn't know that. Can you tell me where Palace are?
Crystal Palace atop of the form table.
Fuck off!
At this moment in time. Yeah, Crystal Palace.
They drew to Southampton.
Yeah, it's 4 wins
What's
and
going on?
wins and a draw. 4 wins and a draw.
We live in opposite land.
Yeah. Where are Chelsea? City are 11th. Where are Chelsea?
6th, 7th, 8th. Final answer.
Final answer.
Yeah. Lock it in. If you haven't seen the video, Charles Ingram, look it up.
Yeah. Chelsea at 5th, mate.
Okay.
Top 4 at the minute in the form table. Go on. I've given you Palace. See what you
Top
name.
4, right. Palace.
Yeah.
Are Newcastle in there?
I'm not going to tell you who are in there. Go top 4.
I don't know. I don't know.
You're not just going around and stop looking at your
I'm
fucking
trying to get the
computer.
teams. I'm not looking. I promise you, I'm not looking. Right. I'm going to go Newcastle, Palace, Villa, and Forest.
Well, what? Hold on.
Have I named 5 teams?
What the fuck, mate? You've just named a load of teams, right? What position are you? I've just told you. No, shush. I've just told you Palace are top, and you go right. Newcastle, Palace. I am supposed to be the thick one on this podcast.
Palace.
You're supposed to be the smart one,
Palace.
and you're coming across as thick as shit right now.
Palace, Newcastle. In this, sorry, let me just clarify. In this order: Palace, Newcastle, Villa, Forest.
Palace, Liverpool, Newcastle, Villa. You got them all right. You got the order wrong, which means
I didn't say Liverpool. I didn't say Liverpool.
Which means that Forest, you are wrong completely. Which means I know more about football than you.
Yeah. Other than the fact that you didn't get the key fact earlier on about Charlton.
Anyway, fuck Charlton. Speaking of Newcastle, they play at home to United.
Yes,
on Sunday.
I actually think that Man United could win that game.
Do you?
Yes, I do. I weirdly do. I don't know why. It doesn't make any sense. Andre Onana is going to be on ice skates in goal.
He'll be bang up for it.
He'll be bang up for it. Nemanja Matic will be bang up for it. Did you hear that?
Do you know, like, where there's obviously an age gap difference between Onana and Nemanja Matic, right?
Yes.
Do you think Onana just didn't realise when he made those comments? Like, because you know when he said, like, players that have won major honours and whatever. And it's
but he said major honours at United, which was the clear clarification.
No, fuck off.
He said at Man United, he said, I won a trophy at this club.
Nemanja Matic won a trophy at Man United.
Did he win an FA Cup with Man United?
Nemanja Matic would have won a trophy at Man United.
I don't.
Nemanja Matic played for Man United during the Van Gaal and the Mourinho era.
The era in which Jose Mourinho said that finishing second was the biggest achievement ever in football.
Nemanja Matic helping Man United finish second is better than anything Andre Onana has done for Man United.
He's lifted silverware.
Regardless of that, I can guarantee you, I've not looked at the stats, and I'll just clip it before looking at the stats. That's how confident I am, and now I'm going to look like a fucking idiot in the comment section. But I can guarantee you that Nemanja Matic lifted more silverware with Man United than Andre Onana did. By the way, if we're talking about silverware in comparison, Nemanja Matic and Andre Onana, he can't hold a football anyway, but he definitely can't hold a candle in comparison to Nemanja Matic. So put some respect on Matic's name. Don't you ever talk about Matic like that again, because you are an absolute disgrace, Andre Onana.
You've taken that fucking personally, haven't you? It's not even anything to do with you.
It's nothing to do with it. I was rattled, mate. When he said that, I was just like...
Do you know who you're talking to?
Do you know who you're talking about? Oh my God. Like, I know like kids are young nowadays and they've forgotten about shit and don't know about shit. But like, come on, mate. It's not that long ago. What is it? 14, 15 season
the fact
or whatever?
as well, right, is he couldn't have possibly done a worst 5 minutes in the game after those comments. It was almost as calamitous can be. And that was, I lived with a Man United fan, and I had a Man United fan say to me, oh, it wasn't that bad. And I was going...
Have you seen, I'm going to give him a big shout out here. You know, JOEYK on Instagram.
Yeah.
Have you seen his reel on Matic and Onana? Go watch it after this. JOEYK on Instagram is fucking funny.
Why have you
mate.
started a new Instagram without telling me?
No, it's not. You know him. We were going to get him on the kickoff before.
I do know. I love that guy.
He's
Brian. Fucking brilliant.
JOEYK on Instagram. I looked at his following earlier. He's
blown up.
He's blown up, but he's not got a tenth of what he should have.
Oh, he should have more.
He should have 500,000 followers.
We'll link in the description.
He's fucking funny, mate. JOEYK on Instagram's joke. But yeah, either way. Yeah, so basically we need to hope for a Man United win over Newcastle. Yeah. And then, you know, they won't pip us in the week. But if they beat Man United at home and then they win in the week, they're going above us. So that's not good. Also, Nottingham Forest, right? I'd still favour them to beat Everton. You'd definitely favour them to beat Everton. But Everton are a little bit resurgent under David Moyes. And it's been a couple of games since Everton have actually won under David Moyes, hasn't it now? So I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, maybe they're due one under David Moyes. Came in and got them going. So, yeah, we just got to hope for the best, really. Let's cap it off, as always, with a score prediction from yourself, Josh.
I'm going to return the favour to Ipswich and I'm going to say 2-0 to Chelsea.
Yeah?
Yes.
I'm going 3-0 Chelsea. I'm going Nicholas Jackson goal. I'm going Cole Palmer goal. And, ladies and gentlemen, I am going... it's not a rogue shout.
You're not buffering. You're just taking your time.
I'm just taking my time. I can clip it. It's not a rogue shout. I'm going for Cucurella goal as well. People, I will see you in the post-match review, unless I do a stream for it. Keep your eyes peeled on my Instagram. And by the way, on Sunday, Joey and Josh, the disappearance of Andrew Gosden drops. That is going to be an absolute banger, so keep your eyes peeled for that one. We will see you all in the next one.